Welcome everyone. Happy Sunday. How's everyone doing? How's been your week so far? Weekend, not just week. I hope you guys had a good week of trading, and that you are already preparing for the big week that is coming next week. So it's going to be a big one. We are back with the central bankers. We're going to have Bank of Japan. We're going to on Tuesday. We're going to have the Fed on Wednesday. No, it's going to be on Wednesday as well. So Bank of Japan is going to be on Wednesday as well. The Fed, Bank of England on Thursday. And in addition to that, because it's the end of July and the beginning of August, we are going to also have labor market data being announced with job openings, ADP non-farm payroll, and then on Friday we are going to finish with unemployment in the US, so the non-farm payroll in the US. In the Eurozone, you're going to have CPI being announced also. So that's going to be, again, after such a slow week in terms of the dollar, almost didn't move. It's going to be for sure quite busy next week. Boa, Juiz, tudo bem? Welcome to the stream. Bongani, how are you, man? Yeah, so it's going to be a busy one, so we'll see. Let's take a look at what can we expect for the week ahead. Just to quickly look at the central bankers, right? That's one of the most important. Bank of Japan, big question mark if they're going to increase the interest rate. So that's a little bit of the expectation, which can have a big impact on the yen pairs. So Bank of Japan had already intervened twice in the last couple of months, but it hasn't really changed the policy. So it may need to actually reinforce this intervention with the change of policy to actually start putting or pushing the the yen pairs a little bit more to the downside and the yen index to the upside. In terms of the Fed, what you are looking for in here. So again, expectations is to keep the rates unchanged, which the market at the moment is anticipating that the first rate cut is going to happen in September. However, there is a big difference. Basically, there are two things that the market is 100% pricing in. The rates now stay unchanged, and in September we have the first rate cut. What the market is gambling at this point is how many rate cuts we are going to have until the end of this year. And that's where there can be a big difference, and that's why I think what's going to be most important from this Fed meeting is going to be actually the press conference, not exactly the rate cut in here. So again, looking at what you're anticipating in here, as you can see in December, in here on the 18th of December, basically the last meeting from the Fed this year, the market is anticipating there is going to be a 57% odds of the rate to be at 4.75. That's basically 3 rate cuts this year. That's going to be one in September, another one in November, and another one to occur in December. And I'm not sure if that's going to happen, to be honest. I think that's I think the market is pricing in this incorrectly. And again, there's going to be a lot of clues that the Fed chair is going to provide in this meeting on Wednesday. Because honestly, I don't think, again, the market has been slightly wrong throughout this period of these rate cuts. It started straight away in the beginning of the year, already anticipating that the first rate would occur in March or May. Didn't. It was delayed. And now it's anticipating there's going to be 3 rate cuts. What we had last week we had actually GDP in the US. It was much better than expected. I think it was anticipating to be at 1.2 or something like that. It came out at 2.8, something like that. What was it? 2.8 exactly. So much better. So the economy is not doing that bad. Yes, we have the stock market finally correcting and moving to downside, but the economy is still kind of on the same path as it was before. Unemployment is slightly to start increase. In this particular case, we're going to have unemployment being announced after the Fed meeting. So the Fed's still not going to be able to make decisions based on this non-farm payroll data. But I do really think that the Fed is not going to cut rates 3 times. And that's where can be a little bit of an adjustment between what the market's expecting. And that maybe actually eventually can lead the market to move even more to the downside, and in particular the indices. And in terms of the UK, what we have is apparently the expectation of the first rate cut. So we'll see. The data in UK has been slightly better. So it's going to be interesting to see. Again, the inflation has been, I think it was lower last time as well. Unemployment is still kind of the same. One of the main issues in the UK, it has been always the average earnings that has been always slightly high at around 5%. So that's always a challenge in here to push the inflation down, but there you go. Apparently, the Bank of England is expected to cut rates for the first time. Bongani, you are asking me what strategies do I use to trade news? I use the same strategy. Like, I don't really change anything, and I do like to trade the news, but I need to see confirmation that on that specific day. Like, I need to see spikes in the market. I need to see that price is in the good level for me to take advantage of the news. And there are specific ways that you can trade either. In this particular case, in terms of news, I'm talking specifically about FOMC and non-farm payroll, and even CPI as well. Can be, even though CPI is differently from non-farm payroll. Non-farm payroll can be a little bit more manipulated, spike up and down, and then make a decision. CPI has been changing during these last 2 years. It has been basically whatever the data is, a big move to the downside or to the upside. Now recently has been a bit more with manipulation as well. And in terms of the FOMC, it's basically wait for the data to come out, and you are going to trade, or you should be trading more the press conference. And there are specific moments during the press conference that you should be actually expecting then the reversal. I'm more a contra trend trader, so that's more of the trades that I'll be looking for. But it's usually after the Fed Chair Powell stops reading the statement, and when the Q&A starts, that's usually when the market starts. Again, it's right 10 minutes after it starts, which is basically around 7:40, 7:45, that the market starts actually taking a decision which direction it wants to go. In there, it's during the Q&A more than actually the statement. And in this particular case, if that's not the projections, if there is the projections being announced, that's a different story. And market can move straight away when the news come out. In there. But yeah, it's all about space. That doesn't change anything in terms of whatever space is available. If price is compressing in one direction, if price is too strong in one direction as well, maybe expecting some kind of retracement. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible to trade that. NFP, that's a different story. You can maybe talk about NFP. Eventually, I'll make a video about how to potentially take advantage of this news. Yeah, but again, it depends where price is. So, starting with the dollar index, as you can see, basically it was a ranging week, like basically non-event. If you are looking at the weekly candle, nothing happened, right? We are looking at this small candle in here, which means that in terms of dollar opportunities this week, it was not that great. There was a little bit more of movement on euro dollar, but as you can see, nothing major. And this is where it's actually quite important, or for anyone that is just only trading one asset. In this case, sometimes people are just trading euro dollar, pound dollar. If that's how you do, then in weeks like this, you need to understand that you are not going to get the best opportunities. It's a lot of ranging, unless again, you are just trading those 1 hour of the London Open and something like that, and maybe you can have a little bit of, I don't know, 30 pips here and there. But in terms of the best opportunities where actually there's momentum, it's not going to be on this asset all the time. So being aware of being able to actually step aside or look for other opportunities when prices like this, that's something that you can work on and improve. And that's basically what you are trying to do now when you do the pre-market analysis during every day, is to actually try to find out where those opportunities are. And they are not all the time just on the dollar pairs. In here, for example, last week it was on dollar yen, it was on the CAD. Gold also provided good opportunity. The indices initially as well with the move to downside. So there were other markets, other opportunities that we could have Look for the Aussie pairs as well. They moved much better than the dollar. Yeah, so looking in here, what do we have? Again, bigger picture, we still have this break to the downside. This can still be eventually where price wants to go towards to. We did manage to break these walls, and basically we managed to respect that high in there, and now we managed to make another break to downside. And eventually I believe that that's where price could carry on moving towards to. Looking at the high is reacting from this extreme. Again, there was a small gap that was left behind, so that's always still in my head, just in case price actually wants to go all the way. What else? If you do break above this structure in here, then you can navigate more towards the upside. So there's still the possibility that price can go slightly higher and react from something in there, and only afterwards push the downside on the dollar. So yeah, on the lower time frame, what we had, like what we saw this week, is that we had this small break in here, and we had that small break in there. Basically, price already navigated a little bit between those levels, but it kept this zone in here fresh, and it kept even this one zone in here fresh. So basically, this low and this high, they are not reacting from anything, which means that I'm expecting them to still be broken in here. So price can easily still fake out these highs in here, maybe react from something in there and push lower if it wants to, and eventually this low will be also target, and price actually wants to break below that. If price doesn't want to respect this breaking here and go higher, then you're looking for price to go at least towards that zone in there. So a setup like that can also occur in here. So yeah, that's like on the dollar at this point. For sure, on Wednesday we're going to be at a better stage to see what's going to happen. That's when we start having those big news. We have on Tuesday, we have already job openings, so that can create a little bit of volatility. But we'll see. Maybe the market's going to open already with some momentum. We'll see what's going to happen. But at this point, I need this one to move away. Bigger picture, as I mentioned, we did manage to break below those lows. We can still move slightly more to downside. That high respected the other one, so it's an okay level where this one's reacted to in here. So yeah, it could push a bit more to downside next. Then we're going to be looking for price to get closer to this level in there. But we'll see if price by any chance tomorrow does something different, and maybe based as well on what you can look at on the euro dollar and the other dollar pairs, then you can adjust our prediction in here. Is this a head and shoulder? Which one? Where dollar is now? Yeah, maybe. You can have this, you have the head there, and you can have this one. So yeah, it can be a head and shoulder. It can be. Like to trade that, I don't really know what's the definition of the rules for the typical head and shoulder that everyone trades. But one of the most important parts of a head and shoulder is when we are basically in here. Imagine that you are in here and you have actually this break to downside and this break to the upside and this break to the downside. What are you going to do next? Right? What's going to happen here? Is this one going upwards? Or by any chance, if this one now reacts toward this level, is this one going backwards, downwards, or going to go up from here? Like, that's the question mark. It's not exactly about the pattern itself. It's actually mostly try to understand where this high and this low are actually reacting to the left side, and what's the bigger picture. That's actually what's going to define what to expect from one of these two levels in here. Right? Because at this point, if you just look at the pattern like this, they look all the same. You don't really know what to expect from here. If you don't know where this and this is reacting from, and what's the bigger picture. Yeah. Moving along, the indices. Right, so the indices finally recovered a little bit after such a negative move to the downside in here. So at this point, S&P already dropped like 5%, NASDAQ dropped even more. And price is respecting already this level, and it missed a little bit this level, so I could still see this low being taken for price to respect this demand zone in there. So yeah, we can still have a little bit more of a push to downside, and we do have a few levels in here at the highs as well that we can still respect. For example, we even have this one in here. We still have this one in here, so price can still fake out in there and move down. Basically, this high in here is only respecting the support resistance, leaving the supply left behind in there. So that's something to look at. And then, yeah, of course, we do have the extreme, but if price does get to the extreme, then there's always the risk of price creating a new all-time high. That's going to be actually, again, the video that's going to be released this week, how to trade all-time highs. I'm going to release that video. So it's just a quick or easy way to understand when to try to look for the reversals, and if you are still looking for momentum trades, when to look for them and when to pause a little bit and start managing your expectations in terms of targets. In there, so again, we did manage to break below these lows, so that's a big break in there. And at this point, you can have this, and you have this level in here as well. That can be important. So we'll see what's going to happen in here, but I could see it going a little bit more downside. I haven't really seen what earnings are going to be announced this week, but I believe that's going to be okay and be the big tech, maybe Apple that hasn't really announced earnings, and some others like that. So again, expect those earnings to work as a catalyst for this for the indices. So there you go. It's going to be a full week of news and catalysts that can affect the market throughout the day and the week. Yeah, we'll see. Again, I do think that price may still want to go lower. We did respect it already, twist the double bottom in there. It kind of maybe need to get a little bit of a range in here before moving. Yeah, at this point for me, still wait a little bit, wait and see. We did manage to predict that that reversal. That's something that we're looking for. And then there was still that space in there. So eventually price filled that space. There was still that space in there. So eventually price filled that space. And now we'll see. I do believe that maybe price still wants to go lower, but it's respecting this low, so it's not as a bad level overall. Let's see what kind of manipulation is going to occur somewhere around this structure in here. NASDAQ. Yeah, NASDAQ moved all the way to start respecting one of the first targets that we were looking for. It was somewhere in here, so a lot of this has been compressed. NASDAQ already dropped a lot. Is it close to 10% already? Yeah, basically 9.8% retracement already in 2-3 weeks. That's quite a lot. And yeah, good reaction from that level. That level was fresh. This demand zone in here. The previous lows didn't really react from it. So that was something to look for in here. What's the difference between NASDAQ and S&P at this point? S&P already reacted from this level, so S&P already made this move a little bit more towards this low, the low created on the 19th of July, so that low in there. So basically, NASDAQ, S&P already reacted from here. NASDAQ is only reacting whatever this high in there, just paused a little bit in here. Right, and this is how you can start using correlation in these assets. Right, assets that tend to move quite similarly, but there are some moments where one moves more than the other and one is leading comparing with the other. However, something that we also can pay attention to is are the levels where each one is respecting. So by any chance, again, if S&P actually managed to respect this level, there's maybe some probability that NASDAQ, whenever it goes there, it may have at least some reaction from it as well. I'm not saying that price is going to react from there and completely sell off, but at least it should have some kind of reaction, maybe just towards the next structure that's going to be in here. At least something like that could happen, unless price already on the way down, already reacted from it in here. So, and you do have that supply as well. But yes, it's another way that you can use correlation, is also looking at the levels that one or the other has already respected and the other hasn't or hadn't. So that's something to look at in here. But yes, as you can see, NASDAQ is a little bit more bearish in here. and the other one already went there. So let's see now what's going to happen. It's not a bad level to start having a little bit of a retracement. The double bottom is starting to be in place in here, so eventually we can start using potentially these lows in here for a little bit more of a turn. And we do have still, again, as I mentioned, this level, we have a little bit of a gap in there, and you have something in here as well that can still carry on pushing NASDAQ to the downside. All right, so something that we want to pay attention to as well is when price is moving down, you want to pay attention if every single level on the way down has already been reacted from, right? So by any chance, if price is moving down like this and with the supply, if the supply has already reacted from it, now we have a new one and then price goes there again. And basically there's already a lot of compression on the way down, which eventually when price turns, is free to go all the way to go to the highs. Or the opposite, if actually when price turns, it creates one level, then kind of never really gets there. All of a sudden you have a few levels that price can still eventually use and move to downside. Again, it's a completely different type of move, one to the other. And yeah, one is a bit more bearish than the other in here. Yeah, just another tip in here. So yeah, NASDAQ, we'll see. Again, there's a few levels in there. We'll see what's going to happen. I'm still not really confident that this is going to be perhaps the low. It's an okay level, but maybe not the low. Then you can still go a little bit lower to retest this previous level support resistance in there. So let's see. I want to see a little bit more of manipulation, a little bit of more weakness in here until before we may have a little bit of a reversal, more to the upside, somewhere in there. Yeah, so we'll see what's going to happen in here. Dow actually made a little bit more of a move to the upside, and as you can see in here on the Dow, there aren't that many levels in here that price still can respect. That's basically what I just mentioned. Price went down, went up, basically reacted from it, went down, went up one time, in the orders, demand, and now is moving upwards. There's perhaps a little bit in here, but price was it dropped quite aggressively. So we'll see. You do have maybe this level and maybe something in there at the extreme, and you do have this one in there as well. Aside from that, Dow can just move slightly more to the upside in here. So basically this was a retest to this previous level of this previous all-time high, basically reacting from the demand zone that pushed to the upside. All right, so this is something actually we are going to cover in that video, that when price breaks all-time high, it's either reacts to the demand zone or reacts to support resistance. If the support resistance had already being reacted from, there's a high probability that actually price is going to go towards the demand zone that actually managed to break the high. So there you go. That's actually where it reacted from, since all these levels in here had already been touched in there. A little bit of reaction still from this fresh demand, but eventually this now is the level that we should be aiming for price to react from, or to react from in there. So we'll see in there as well. DAX has been just ranging. Great moves on intraday, like up and down. It's not just a small range, actually a range with a lot of volatility, but it respected this demand zone and you have those highs. So we'll see. We still need eventually for one of these, again, this structure here to break to the downside, or eventually price to challenge a little bit more the highs in there. We did manage to break this low, so we did manage to break that low as well, and now just reacted from here. So maybe that's an indication that maybe price wants to go there. Again, I've never been the biggest fan of this low, even though it's okay level. It's actually pushed price to the upside from here. So we'll see. This is all-time high, so it's always a bit tricky. I don't like this level. I think this high may have missed that supply zone in there, so that can still be a level to pay attention to somewhere in here. So that's maybe something to look for on the DAX. But yeah, a lot of indecision in here. Luís, are you still there? What do you trade, man? O que é que tu mercados é que olhas? Bitcoin now is reacting from a really interesting level. So we start having this compression in here. I still like the supply in there, basically two levels in here that I liked. It was one of them, it was in here, and the other one is slightly higher in here. We didn't really manage to break the low, so price respected this demand zone in here, so that's perfect. It's just a compression, not exactly any low being broken just yet, which means that price is still slightly bullish. Well, in reality, just broke a low in here. We actually broke that low, so we do have a first low in here, which can open the door a little bit more for price to go back into this level again, somewhere in here, and then can perhaps just carry on moving to the upside. So that's something to look at in here, or eventually, again, if it starts gaining momentum. I don't really think there's anything above these levels in here that can still hold it. Therefore, we're going to go for all-time highs on BTC, and we'll see what kind of cycle, what kind of new cycle we're going to start in here. But before we got there, yes, you do have two levels. One of them is already being reacted from, and the other one is somewhere in here that you can still expect some kind of reaction, since this high is never reacted from that level in there. Yep, but we do have this engulf down, so maybe a little bit more on over time frame, we can actually have potential turn in here. Yeah, we do have this left shoulder. It's the supply level. Nice fake out into this level in here. Yeah, we'll see. If you do break that level, that's even more confirmation. And then price, I would even like to see this happening more than just this. Price actually in here can, yeah, I would even prefer actually a new break of a low that will even give more confirmation. Price wants to go lower and then just come back in here. But you do have already this liquidity. You already have this range in here that you can basically fake out and push more to the downside, and then you can go back into this level and attention also to something in here. Yeah, that's more intraday, more kind of lower time frame stuff in here. Ethereum went all the way down, reacting from this fresh demand zone that was in there. So that was a good move, also in the moment to that level. So we have this range in here. The PI this week was really good. That was another one that we looked at. It was really good, the PI price action around this level in there until finally break it and created momentum. Like some other guys actually got that move, so that was really good. And we'll see now. We'll see what's going to happen. And Solana as well is challenging the highs, perhaps about to break this level in here and going slightly more to the upside. So I wouldn't actually be surprised if that happens. If actually price goes a little bit closer, and I do like still that high in there. So that could be something to look for in here. But yeah, we'll see. Now the rest of the rest of the FX pairs. Euro index. So this was also something that we looked for last week. Actually 2 weeks ago, when you started to look for that fake out and anticipating this move to the downside on the euro index, and as a consequence also the euro pairs to follow through. Basically, we filled out the compression. We never really closed this gap, so we are within the gap. So that's still a little bit of opportunity to push this euro index to the downside. Price is compressing at this point, so we will see what's going to happen around this level, and eventually if price does want to go slightly higher, and even go there. But first and foremost, maybe we have something in here to look for. In terms of approach, or kind of in terms of price movement so far, yeah, it's compressing a little bit. So you have the structure. We do have this level in here that can also hold price up in alignment with that previous structure. So that's going to be one to follow as well. Even though the euro, they're going to have interest rate decision in Japan, US, and in UK. So maybe the euro pairs are they may just follow what the other ones are going to do instead of actually being in control this week. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen. And then the end pairs, like the end pairs, that's one to pay attention. We basically corrected all this move since we had that intervention on the 11th of July, when just after the US CPI, and we basically fill all this space in here. Like that was basically what we did. Now price is reacting a little bit from this level, which is still within this demand zone. I do think that's still perhaps a level in there that price can react from. So we'll see. We'll see what the Bank of Japan is going to do on Wednesday morning. If price does, yeah, if they increase rates again, we may have another push upwards in here. If it just goes with the same approach as it has always been, like waiting and just delaying everything, we may have this yen index moving lower again. And there is a high probability that the market tends to close the gap. Sometimes it's immediately, sometimes it's going to take time. Like sometimes it's going to be within the same trading session or the day after, or sometimes it's there. But if it's there, there is a probability that when price comes back to it, even like 2 weeks afterwards, if price comes back to it and it doesn't really close it, then it should close it like almost after that. But yeah, usually price does close the gaps. The gaps don't stay there open. So we did manage to break below that, so that was a continuation. Perfect. Now reacting from this demand zone. Yeah, just curious to see how price may react from here. Again, I still like this level in there that can steal it a little bit into some reaction, and we may be close. We may be close to a potential zone 2, even though I don't really consider price is reacting from a good level, but price went to the upside quite aggressively. So I don't know if there was enough compression here and manipulation around this level. Which, what I mean by that is, I don't really see, for example, a proper high in here that price created that manipulation like that. So, and because maybe that's still not there, we may actually go all the way and still fake out these highs before going or doing something else in here. Unless that manipulation starts to occur now somewhere in here, it starts to happen a little bit, which is creating a little bit more of structure in there, starts to create liquidity, and then you can do something like that and price can go. So we'll see what's going to happen with this one as well. So that's going to be something to pay attention. For example, in here, it creates a little bit of structure before the move to the upside. Which was again quite interesting, quite cool to be honest. Again, in here it created a little bit of this structure, and also there's quick move down, up, and start moving. Like so, that's more of a continuation pattern in here. And here you only have this high, but this low didn't even manage to break that low. So yeah, we'll see what's going to happen in here. So this level can perhaps be a continuation. Yeah, so we'll see what's going to happen on the yen index. But it's going to be an important pair to pay attention, and you may start a new cycle. Question mark is, are you going to break to the upside and go higher, or are you going to come back into this level again? Apparently in the bigger picture there's actually kind of a trend line in there. All right, so moving along with this, let's take a look into the individual currency pairs. So euro dollar, as I mentioned, it moved slightly lower, or it moved a little bit more than the dollar index. Dollar index was basically just in here. At least euro dollar still managed to go slightly lower. In my opinion, this low is not the best, so I could see going a little bit more to the downside. And in terms of the high, so I mentioned before that dollar index managed to break an important structure, right? Which eventually could lead to more sales. And if that's the case, then euro dollar will need to go higher, which now raises the question: is this high important or a good one? Now, on the daily time frame, it reacted from a fresh level in there. In the bigger picture, a little bit more, this can be seen as a break into this compression, which means that price eventually can go and fill the compression to the upside. This can be just a small retracement, kind of a retracement before price continues to go higher. In this bigger picture as well, this may be kind of a demand zone in there it's not as bad, to be honest. Now, price is ranging just in here. It's a complete mess. I don't really like anything in here. I would like to see at least this low being faked out. And if the euro by any chance does want to go lower, then can go all the way into, can feel all this compression, can really go closer to this zone in there. Is there anything in here that can still be used on the euro dollar? Alright, this is weekly. Yeah, monthly, we are looking at this zone. Yeah, it's just in the middle, personally. It's just in the middle. If price does still want to go lower, I would actually love to see it going slightly there. So that could be a potential level to look for sales if the high actually wants to hold price. So that potentially can be interesting. Yeah, I just need the euro dollar to make a decision where it wants to go at this point in here. Yeah, just need it. Just need to make that decision. Yeah, not going to force anything in here at this point. On a higher time frame is not a bad level, to be honest. This one, but I'm not sure if that's going to be enough to actually complete push price higher, which that can lead to a push lower, to be honest. Pound dollar has been moving to the downside, so pound dollar the high is slightly better. So we actually created that manipulation there, kind of which we took out the liquidity. That was something that we saw already 2 weeks ago. Since then, it's been moving down, and it can go maybe close to this level. So it's not a bad one, to be honest. Friday, it managed to respect a little bit of this structure, so it's still within this level. It's still underneath this zone in here as well, so it can perhaps have a little bit more of a continuation, can even go slightly in here and doesn't really make it bullish neither. If price does go there and continues to move forward, it's still bearish and can literally fake out this high into there. Or then if price starts to actually breaking a bit more the structure, then we are looking for it to go more into this level. Yeah, so again, it's another one that I could see it going slightly lower, and this guy is already next to go slightly higher first before any different story in here. Yeah, so we'll see. If nothing in holds, then you're looking for price to go already towards this level. Yep, that's basically euro pound dollar. Euro pound, that was one of the predictions of the week. We saw it, broke the highs, left this level. Again, on the bigger picture, which is always important to look at, we just fake out that low. Price basically is really close to this important demand zone, and it was creating PA, and it worked out perfectly. Right, so that was the first clue as well. We already have enough manipulation. Already broke some structure in there as well. Price has been compressing, and good reaction from here, and price now is starting to move more to the upside. Again, there is still the possibility of price even doing this in here. Again, euro pound does have that tendency that it likes to range instead of just kind of creating the momentum and going. So yeah, maybe a reaction from this supply level, and price can come back all the way back into this level, and from there maybe can move. So that's another one to look at in here. But the initial move, it's already done. We're looking at the Aussie pairs now, so a huge move to the downside for the last 2 weeks. Many bearish daily candles in here, and in my opinion, price hasn't yet reached the final destination. Again, where price just paused now, it's okay level on the weekly, but it's kind of in the middle. So I would like it to go, or to continue to resume more the move to the downside, and eventually actually take this low and get closer to this structure in there. I think that would be a little bit slightly better, or at least fake out this level and get somewhere in there. And we have this structure in here as well. that can hold this Aussie dollar to the downside. So that's something to pay attention. We have also this previous support resistance in there. But yes, where price falls right now, not my favorite. We did manage to break a little bit more of this highs, but is there any demand in here that can still hold price? Maybe, but because I don't like to have on the left side, I'm going to even ignore anything that is going to be created in there. Unless, of course, unless if price does something like this, then maybe somewhere in there can be a long opportunity, especially if this level is still fresh in there. Yes, but for now, I would like it to see going a bit more to the downside in here. And this leads us into the other Aussie pairs, which they have been one of the opportunities that we look for last week, and maybe they are going to continue to carry on this week, especially if the Aussie dollar continues to push lower, which means that maybe the other ones are continuing to push higher and eventually going to have a much better reversal from here. So it's going to be something to track. So one of the first ones was this Euro Aussie, right? So we saw that first break, price respected then the demand zone, and then we are looking for price to feel basically feel almost all this compression here, and now it's getting closer to these highs, right? So it was a massive move to the upside. This is something that has been going on already for 2 weeks in here. I did a little bit just of a pause in there, just typical, breaks the highs, creates a bit of structure, and then another momentum. And the way it worked, the way it moved, there's maybe still some liquidity in there to be collected. Price can maybe just react from there. Again, price kind of just range in here, and there's maybe still that level slightly higher, or price can even fake out this double top in there. So we can have a little bit of a compression in here, maybe price slowing down a little bit, going higher. If price does want to go slightly lower, can even retest this level until eventually you can take out these highs and maybe react from something in there before another massive reversal from here, which in this case will continue to push Aussie dollar to the downside, which could make sense, to be honest. But yes, on the intraday, more of the lower time frame, yeah, there's maybe something in here that this Euro Aussie can trade from. Yep, it can trade from something in there. You can literally fake out his highs and can a little bit more of a reaction from here. So we can even range a little bit in here for a while. Yep, it can. Then we have pound Aussie, which it was similar. Again, a huge, really big move to the upside, and we are looking for price to fake out that high. So that was a perfect opportunity on Thursday. As soon as price fake out that level, again, can still go slightly higher, but just taking that high was important. We start breaking some lows, and then price just ranging in here and pushing lower. So we'll see as well. Again, there's maybe still something in there that price can use. I would like it at least to go all the way until here, take these highs, create a little bit more of a range before even considering to move lower. In here to the downside, basically almost took this low, and you can look for price to get slightly more into, yeah, something in there, perhaps. So yes, there can be more room to downside in here on this on Aussie. As you can see in the bigger picture, price may still want to go slightly there as well. So we just took this one. Again, it's just another engulf upwards, but before that, typical reversal, and you can even just react from this level and continue to push higher in here. But yeah, that was another one. A good move down. So if it by any chance continues to go higher, then you're going to continue to look for the turn. And then you go into the yen pairs, and the first one is also the Aussie yen. Again, another move down in there. Good reaction. This was a good level, so we're looking for that. That was a good demand zone in here. None of those highs, none of those lows reacted from it. And there you go. Now you can go all the way until there. It's kind of finding a little bit of structure around this level. Just same story with the yen index. Maybe in this case there was a little bit more of compression, but on the bigger picture, it doesn't really look like there is any important low. Okay, there was at least this liquidity around this level, so at least there's something in there. Otherwise it may still need to use this low as a potential liquidity. And if we actually break this low, we actually have the the potential of resuming a bit more to move to downside. So what you're going to be looking here is a little bit of more losing momentum, start some kind of compression around here until eventually can have a turn. But overall, again, it's a really good move. It's a good level, I mean, where price is reacting. So that's just something to bear in mind. Opposite to any other levels before, this actually is a good level in there. And all of a sudden, if price does want to continue to go lower, then you're targeting this low already. Price already took that one. Something in here, maybe not. Yeah, there's a lot of compression all the way down as well. Yeah, so we'll see. It's an important level support resistance as well in here on the Aussie yen. The other yen pairs. So dollar yen retested this low, which is also the retest of these previous highs in here. But that level basically is already reacted from this level in here, so it's a bit weaker. Price still managed to go slightly higher in here, so we'll see. We do have these structures, and I would like actually to see eventually this one being taken and to see what's going to happen afterwards. If price starts to move much higher, especially if it breaks above this level, then you are looking for it to go much higher in here. On the pound, on the dollar yen, is there anything in here? Yeah, dollar yen actually still have this level also behind, so that's not a bad one to look for a potential reaction. Yeah, can be. Maybe can create a little bit of PA in here. Already took some highs, kind of reacting from that level. Already broke this low, so it can go slightly lower first. Just have some reaction from this level. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Dollar yen within this level can be interesting to look for some trades. Maybe go there first, and then react from here. Euro yen, same thing. So when it came all the way down towards this level, basically feel the spice, and since then had the reaction that was on Thursday as well. Already reacted from this level in here, and there you go. We'll see now what's going to happen. This was a good, yeah, this was a good level in there. If price breaks that level, it starts open door to go further down in there. So we'll see. Similar to dollar yen, it may have left as well a level in here that can still be used. We have this level in there. It managed to break slightly that high. The price already spiked from it with the news, I believe. Yep, that it may have actually left behind afterwards. So yeah. Now this is the question mark. Is it is going to create some kind of eventually double bottom in here and go higher, or is it going to just resume the move to downside and break the walls on the left side as well? Right, again, it's a good target. Again, from here to there, that's basically the target that you can aim for. Yep, that's a good one. Yeah, it's a good one. Now it's wait and see. On the end, also good level. It's still a bit in the middle, so there's still the potential of price coming all the way down, all the way back in here. That's basically where euro yen is reacting. Euro yen is already reacting from this level. So pound yen is still a little bit more in the middle in here. It's not a bad level. It's actually quite good, even in the bigger picture, reacting from this previous level support resistance in there. So that could be eventually a zone to look for a slightly bigger move to the upside. Yeah, so we'll see. Is this true? Hey guys, just had a increase of views in here. Not sure if this is true or not. Welcome everyone. All right, so yeah, pound yen, we'll see. We do have this level. Price can go all the way there and resume the move to the downside. A bigger picture, it can still go all the way to the other extreme, basically where euro yen, pound yen, sorry, euro yen, dollar yen, and so on are already reacting from. Yeah, we do have also some structure in there that can still be used, so we'll see as well what's going to happen. By the way, if you are new, feel free to subscribe to the channel. At the end, that's another one that reversed a little bit. It can still go slightly lower as well. That's a little bit more with the cat pairs that have been quite bullish, which means that this one can continue to push to the downside as well. So that's something to bear in mind. In the bigger picture, you can go slightly lower. You can even take this low, and you can actually eventually get closer to something in here. We do have this previous level of support resistance, so that's something in there. But yeah, we already broke that low, so eventually price can actually feel everything in here, and then eventually can continue. So those are good levels just to have a little bit of a reaction. Again, it can still go slightly into there as well and resume. Yeah, so we'll see. Thank you, Wish. What markets do you trade? Is it just me, or I do have now 1,000 people viewing this? Or it's just my YouTube that is bugging me? Like that would be a record, to be honest. I'm not really sure what's going on in here. Ah, you're trading Forex? Which pairs do you trade, Wish? And where are you from? Presumo que sejas português, não? És de Lisboa? Tá bem. Yeah, eu também, mas atualmente vivo em... Atualmente, quer dizer, já vivo há 10 anos no Reino Unido. You only trade euro dollar and dollar franc Swiss? Only those two pairs? And why dollar franc Swiss? At the end. Yeah, that's going to be another one to pay attention to. And Bitcoin. Yeah, that's going to be different. But why dollar franc Swiss? Like, that's not often that we see selecting euro and then dollar. They kind of reversed a little bit. Yeah, interesting. Interesting. Dollar CAD, I presume can continue. Again, I do like that level in there. So I think it can resume the move slightly more to the upside. These two... Yeah, it fake out that highs with the news during the week, then push lower. It kept respecting still this level in here. So we do have a lot of compression, but we don't really have a break of a low just yet on the dollar CAD. We had another move. Yeah, they are trying to go for the prop firm. Yeah. For how long have you been trading? Yeah, dollar CAD, I think next week is going to be one more time on my radar, and I do like that level. So we did manage to fake out slightly this high. I still want that high to be faked out, to be honest. I don't want just the other one. I actually want this one in here, and I think there's this level of supply in there. It's fresh. This high never reacted from it. So I do like that level, and then you do have the extreme in here, right? So usually there are 2-3 levels that you can expect price to react from the highs. One is the extreme, the other one is basically the level that breaks this level, and then some kind of supply in there. So yeah, this level is fresh, so that is a level that I'll be looking for. So fake out this high. Now patience, that's basically what I will need. It's in alignment with this line in there. So just carry on going slightly higher. It's like 14 pips away, 15 pips. So let it continue to go. Eventually, I would love to start seeing some lows being broken as well, but I do like the compression. I do like that it has now this double top in there. So many people may start looking to sell somewhere in there. So that's good. Just make it work a little bit more until eventually we can have that spike and it can move to downside. One of the first targets at this point is just this level. So price paused in there. Price paused in here. Created this double bottom, and you do have this level in here that is still fresh, and it's in alignment with this previous level support resistance. So that level is one of the first targets to eventually look for a move down. In here, of course, whatever low is in here, it can still hold price, but eventually that's a level that we should be expecting price to have a little bit of a reaction from. But yeah, preferably I would love to see dollar CAD moving there. Is there any chance that you can even go above this high, that you can actually fake out that high and getting somewhere higher? Maybe, right? So at this point, what's the main difference with dollar CAD? Dollar CAD, and in particular Canada, already cut 2 times the interest rate. So, right, so there starts to be a little bit of a difference between the Canadian dollar and the dollar. And because of that, we may have a little bit more of a bullish run in here, like we have seen in this last few weeks. So we'll see. In the bigger picture, basically we have been trading around this level for the last 2 years, right? Since basically middle of 2022 until now. So that's where we've been trading. Again, the reaction there was really good. And all of a sudden, if you do start breaking above these highs, we may have a little bit of a reaction, but that high looks like... is there anything still in here that price can use? Yeah, this high may have already taken that high there, so that's a good thing. But it may have left this level in here. Do I have data to go there? Yeah, I do have still data, which is already maybe spiked in there. And now the next level is this one, basically where price reacted from. So this one here, at least on this time frame, it doesn't look fresh to me. I don't know if I have enough data. Oh, I still have it. 12 as well. Yeah, maybe still have something in here, and this level is quite good as well. In there, yeah, but there's this level in here as well. 5 minutes. Do I have that 5 minutes? That's where we are. Yeah, I don't have on 5 minutes. So that's by any chance if prices want to go and take that high. I could see 2 levels in here. One is in there and the other one is in there that could still hold price down. But all of a sudden we are so close to this that now we are looking for something in there to see price going towards 2. So that will be a little bit more of what we'll be looking for. But before that, as I mentioned, I do like that high, and you can start trading somewhere in here. Breaking below this low, eventually, that definitely opens the door to go much further down. Because everything in here now starts being compressed, and that definitely opens the door for this dollar CAD to have a proper turn. So we'll see. Next week's not going to be really a week in terms of news for Canada. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. And then we have Euro CAD again. That's another one that we've been looking eventually for a reversal. Price already reacted from that level. We had a reaction, but still missing a proper break. So it's just compression. And this is the moment where, as I will describe in the video that I'm going to release, this is the moment where both buyers and sellers can participate in the market, and it's a bit tricky, right? I just need to manage the expectations of the types of trades that you are looking at this stage in here. So as you can see, we haven't really managed to break any lows, but we are compressing quite a lot. Price is now approaching, it's already reacting from there. It's already reacted initially from the fresh level that we had in here. So initially reacted from there, and now it's kind of reacting from something else. And all of a sudden we can actually fake out that high and aim towards the next one, which is somewhere in here. Thanks for the subscription, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. Couldn't really read your name, but thank you very much. So yes, something in there. Maybe it's already been taken in there. I'm trying to get 1000 subs, so if you guys want to help me out with that, I would really appreciate it. I go live basically almost every day, and I'm going to start sharing more or release more videos, educational videos in this case. Yeah, so feel free as well to share what kind of pairs or assets you are looking for. Basically, we are predicting what to expect for next week. Luis, for how long have you been trading? You didn't answer that question. 2 years, all right. Yeah, 2 years. What are you looking for usually? Are you more of a counter-trend trader, trend continuation trader? And if there's one thing that you are struggling with that you could find, okay, this is kind of my issue, and it's okay. It's not a classroom, it's just a live stream. We are talking. Yeah, if there was one issue that you would like to, or weakness on your trading that you would like to fix, what would that be? Yeah, EuroCAD can be. Yeah, can go there. So by any chance, if it fake out that level is still valid, and all of a sudden, yeah, all of a sudden we are going all the way until here, and all of a sudden you want to see this one already being taken, and the best opportunity is going to appear in here, around this level. Somewhere in here, there's going to be a beautiful sell on the EuroCAD, and those are actually one of my favorite levels to for trades. Is basically price filling out this range and eventually going there, because from here there can actually be a trade from here all the way to there, and you are looking at, yeah, basically 200 pips type of a move. Yep, that can be a massive, beautiful trade on the, and that's just the first target, because we actually already broke this low, and all of a sudden we can actually have a massive move. That will be kind of second target, maybe first target under test of this. Second approach can be, there's maybe something in there, but on this time frame, going to go there, and all of a sudden if it break below these lows, we are looking for here. Yeah, this is one of my favorite setups or levels that you can look for a trade in there. So it's just about to find basically this one falls in there. Do I have data though? I hope I have. Yeah, if I got that level already reacted from it, there's a bit of spike. Yeah, something in there. Always look at support resistance, and then at the extreme in there, something can hold. Question marks, I have data, enough data to go there. To 2021, I should have it. But yeah, somewhere in there, for sure, there's going to be something, but that's still in the future. Before that, we do have this high here to look for a potential reaction. But again, we do need to break. We did manage to break it, but we respected straight away, so that's nice. But yes, we did manage to break slightly that low. So not a massive one. Again, this is basically the big ones. The price can still just trade in between this level. But yeah, take the highs first, and then we'll see. Pound CAD, that's another one. So Pound CAD is still reacting from the high, and I still don't really see the need to break the high, but it can. In here, so we basically just retested that level. We did manage to break below that one, so that's a good one in here. So that's something. And price, by any chance, can still... That was the opportunity as well that he predicted during this week. And by any chance, price can still go there and continue to move lower, because it left this space in there in its alignment with that one, also in alignment with these ones in here. So it left that level behind in there that can still hold. So this level can still be used one more time. And then we did manage to break below that one, even though we respected straight away. So that's usually not something that you want to see. After the break of a low, we don't really want to see price retesting this line. Just want to see the break of low and price gain momentum. It's become a much better engulfed downside. But yeah, something in here can still hold, and then all of a sudden we are getting closer to the high, which then you can look higher. Yeah, so yeah, it's going to be interesting. And on Thursday as well, again, we are going to have Bank of England and the expectation to cut rates. So there's maybe some kind of opportunities as well. But we are going to be talking about that during the week, during the live stream as well. What else am I looking for? Dollar franc Swiss, there you go. What's your bias? Thanks, man. What's your bias on dollar franc Swiss, Luis? Basically, dollar franc Swiss respected that level that we've been looking for, which is one in the middle. In alignment as well with the structure. So that was one of the targets that we've been aiming for. So we've been pushing to the downside until eventually dollar franc Swiss would get closer to here. When price paused in there, or even when it created that low, we were still looking more for a push to the downside. Unfortunately, it did miss that level. So I was looking for dollar franc Swiss to get closer to here before a sell-off. It didn't. It just dropped without me. It's still a good level, eventually for price to fake out that level, but now in terms of target, it changes a little bit because the target that I was actually looking for was a retest of this level, and that's done. Unless we start breaking lows, and if we start breaking these lows, then we open the space for price to go even further down. And here, since everything basically is compressed as well on the way down in there, so that's something to bear in mind. And now, yes, we can range a little bit in here since this level is not is a valid one. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen in there. Which can go in alignment with what we expect on the dollar, right? So again, if the dollar does want to go slightly higher, this one can still go, at least to test a little bit more of the structure before potentially continue to move to the downside. This high reacted perfectly from that level. That's another one that we looked at a few months ago. Then reacted perfectly from this level. So in terms of the pattern, this played out perfectly. Then even from the lower edge of that level. So yeah, now it reached one of the targets. So it could compress a little bit more, and then eventually could push lower from that level. Again, at least to test these lows. That's maybe the trade that we could look for. Eventually, just even if it gets there, at least to test closer to this level in there. And then gold. So anyone here trades gold? I know that Bongani, do you like to trade gold? What's your take? So we came all the way. We respected now this demand zone. So this was already slightly engulfed the downside. I would actually prefer to see it going even more to the downside in there. But on the daily time frame, it was still a fresh level. We did manage to start breaking a high before that. Yeah, that level could be interesting. So we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen somewhere in here. It's literally in the middle, in my opinion, at this point. So you can go. I would like it to see going a little bit more to the downside. This level is still quite good as well. We could respect something in there. What's your bias for gold, Gani? I have this level. I would like this level. There's maybe something in here. This level is the first one, and then something in there. So price started turning quite nicely in here. Price basically just respected that zone. This was a nice reversal move. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I don't really have a bias at this point. We are within this range, so as long as price now is in between here, and I'm not really going to participate on the move in the middle in here, so I wanted to get a bit more closer to any of the extremes, or at least to create some kind of PA, just similar to what happened in here. Yeah, it's not going to be my go-to straight away at this point. The reversal was really good. That's a different story. If it gets closer to that level, yes, I'm going to be following it. And if it starts getting closer a bit more to these lows, I'm going to be following it as well. At this point, it can do whatever it wants to do in the middle. Yeah, it can do whatever it wants. You can even look at silver as well. Good reaction from that level. Yeah, maybe a typical move can be just retest from here to there, and perhaps just resume the move to the downside after that until it gets closer to this level. So that could be just a typical retrace continuation kind of a setup in here on silver. And it's a good demand zone that was still fresh. And basically you can see it. It's trying to go slightly higher. You can even fake out a bit more in something in there, and then you're looking for price to go somewhere in there. This one is already a break below that, so we can even go level. Which pattern do you have? Wait, hold. And then oil. Well, we have been waiting for oil, so we anticipated this move, break everything, so that's perfect. And now it's a little bit in the middle. I'm still waiting for oil to get at least closer to this level. Again, Brent already reacted from it. Oil is still reacting from here. Brent already reacted from that level. So eventually that can push Brent a little bit more to the downside and maybe retest this low in here. Again, the reaction from this side was really good. And you start having that PA. So again, I'm looking for oil to get slightly lower in here, or then eventually to go to that level, right? But again, when it's in the middle, it can create a little bit more of manipulations. The tendency definitely is going to be for price at least to get closer to this level in there. So nice fake out of this high, reacted from that fresh supply level, challenging these lows one more time. And yeah, I'll be surprised if price doesn't really get closer to here, or can even go again closer to that level, and you may get into this range once again in here. So that will be something to pay attention. On oil, yeah, looking for price to get somewhere in there. Yeah, and that's basically it. That's basically it for this week. Shining triangle on 1 hour. Okay. Something like that? Don't even know what shining triangle is. Don't even know how to draw that. We are looking for longs then. Maybe. So to recap, what to look for, right? So again, big question mark in terms of the dollar. It's ranging. We do have that engulf to the downside. So that's something to consider in terms of the dollar index in the bigger picture. Hopefully you are going to have more information until Wednesday when you have the FOMC. I think at this point the market is pricing in incorrectly the 3 rate cuts until the end of the year. I don't think that's going to happen, and I think the Fed Chair Powell is going to be kind of in alignment with that tonality of there's no chance that it's going to be 1 rate cut after another rate cut, 3 in a row. I don't really think that's going to happen. So that can be some kind of adjustment in terms of market expectations towards the dollar and eventually the indices. We are going to have also the Bank of Japan with the yen pairs, which is going to be interesting to see if we do hold these highs in here and move down. If there is a rate increase during that meeting, we may have the yen pairs going to the upside. If it continues to delay and not really making any decision, we may have another push lower on the yen pairs. The indices, it's a good question. Is this the bottom? I don't really think this is the bottom yet, but you could have a retracement first before trying to challenge again new lows in here, or at least to create a little bit more of liquidity around these levels before pushing to the upside. So that's for the indices. The Dow may actually go all the way and break new highs, but I'm more talking about the S&P and the NASDAQ in here. Crypto, no clue. Bitcoin, it's getting closer and closer to the highs. So just testing now the 70k. I still like one level in there at around 71, maybe 70,600. That could still push price a little bit to the downside. Price hasn't really managed to break any low, so that's a good thing so far. Still creates a bit more of a bullishness in here. Ethereum kind of more in the middle. And in terms of then euro dollar and so on, I think euro dollar, pound dollar is still in a moment with dollar index can go slightly higher before maybe pound dollar and euro dollar can go slightly lower before maybe turning a little bit. And then the CAD pairs and the Aussie pairs, I think they're going to be quite interesting because they have been in such a strong momentum. Aussie to the downside, CAD to the upside, that can be, yeah, can eventually provide really good retracements in there. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. Again, tomorrow we're going to do the pre-market analysis again, 7:30 p.m. So feel free to join. Even if you agree with my analysis or not, again, feel free to share what you like to look for. But most importantly, doing pre-market analysis is something that's going to help you tremendously with your consistency, with your performance, to become a consistent trader, hopefully profitable trader. Because it helps you to be one step ahead and to be also prepared to trade whatever setups you want to trade. You can start setting up alerts. You are not going to miss out on opportunities that you didn't know because you didn't even prepare beforehand. And hopefully you are going to have a better understanding of where the price is in the bigger picture, which is going to help you to avoid silly trades when you are just too zoomed into the war time frame, not being aware of where price is in the bigger picture. That's one of the main mistakes that traders do, is they are just too zoomed in on whatever is going on today, like this. That's everything they see, and they have no idea what's going on in the bigger picture. And all of a sudden they are trading, and when they zoom out and they actually then see where the market is, it's nowhere near a good level that they would even consider to take trades. But there you go. That's something that you can benefit from doing pre-market analysis. Yeah, so there's a lot of benefits actually for doing your preparation for trading. And those are actually the things that's going to help you to become consistent in here. So thank you very much, Luis. It was a pleasure. Nice to meet you. Hopefully you can continue to join, and let me know if I can help you any other way. And Bongani again, great. In regards to everyone else, I'm not sure if the views are real or not, or if the YouTube is just bugged at this point, but I do had kind of 1,000 views, so at least it showed in here. Now it's 500. I don't really think that's true, but either way, eventually that's going to be reality. All right, see you guys. I'm going to, Luis, I don't know if you are supporting Benfica or Sporting. I'm a Benfica fan, so I'm actually going to watch Benfica in a bit. It's going to finish with some other things that I have to do, and then I'm going to watch Benfica and rest. Yeah, okay, great. Okay, so yeah, I'm in good company. All right, so let's watch the game in half an hour. All right, thank you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.